There are many theories on aging and on how it happens. There is the free radical theory that says that as you accumulate more and more free radicals, they do damage. There's the programmed senescence or programmed finite lifespan of cells. It's called, the word is senescence or aging. There's a program where they stop dividing. Cells can usually divide 50 times, 50, 60 times, and then they need to then they have to start all over again. Then they need a new one, but then you need a new cell. But one cell can divide about 50, 60 times, and then you need a new cell. So there's different theories on it, but in reality, what happens is that as time goes on, our body accumulates toxins, it accumulates waste, and this waste blocks cellular function. The waste is accumulated inside the cell, and it's accumulated outside the cell in the tissues, and we just don't have a good, efficient waste disposal set of procedures built into our lifestyles. If you look at anatomy, you understand that all cells, all tissues have one conduit bringing nutrients and bringing oxygen called the arteries, the arterial system. But each tissue and each cell has two systems for removing the waste. So clearly nature decided that waste removal is more important than what goes in, because we have the veins and the lymph which drain. So therefore it's more important to keep things cleaned and drained and prevent toxins from accumulating. The only way, there's certain ways that happens. For example, veins and lymphatic vessels don't have any pumps. So the only way that they contract and pull the waste along is with muscle contraction, movement. You need to move around, you need to contract your muscles. By contracting your muscles, you're pulling the waste out. So this tells you one of the reasons why exercise is so important. We call it exercise in the modern world because our lifestyles don't require physical motion. So therefore we have to set aside a certain part of the day to do physical motion, because then we're going to spend the rest of the day sitting down looking at a machine and talking to a machine, or sitting in meetings with people, instead of engaging in the activities that animals do and that natural indigenous humans do, which is just to stay alive. They interact with the earth, they interact with trees and plants, they interact with animals, stuff like that. So again, we're looking at our unnatural lifestyle, which slows down the waste elimination. But basically, and then, there was a discovery of something called telomeres. And telomeres are like on the chromosome. As everyone knows, we have chromosomes, and these chromosomes contain the DNA. They contain the genetic message from the mother and the father, okay? And that when we say that a cell divides 50 or 60 times, what we mean is that the two strands of DNA come apart and they make two new strands. Well, the only part that doesn't divide is up here. It's called the telomere. And the telomere is there actually to prevent breaks and stuff like that. So, but every time it divides, it gets cut shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And so eventually it gets to a point where it will no longer divide. And then in 2009, the Nobel Prize went for the discovery that telomeres, there's an enzyme called telomerase, which will actually make the telomeres longer. And what it does is it takes a little piece of RNA, which is similar to DNA, and makes more telomere, makes it longer. And then we also have the situation where we observe that one of the defining qualities of cancer is that it doesn't die, it's immortal. And again, the telomeres aren't shortening, they're staying long. So something is stimulating telomerase. Okay. So we know that to stop the aging process by looking at the telomeres, by the ability of cells to divide, is possible. Cancer cells use that. We also know there are a lot of very well-proven lifestyle changes that one can do to increase telomerase activity and to increase lifespan. And all of the lifestyle changes that we're going to talk about are the things that actually increase telomerase activity and therefore decrease telomere shortening. But basically, it needs to be understood it's just waste. If you can slow down the waste, increase the waste removal, slow down the waste accumulation. If you can do that, then you will increase your lifespan by 800 years, 900 years. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But we do know that chicken hearts, if you continually, there's an experiment was done and it was repeated, you take the chicken hearts, you continually remove the waste, they live 50, 60, 70 years and then they have to just abandon the experiment. Okay, so chickens don't live that long. So the point is we have no idea how long we could potentially live if we were clean. And this all comes down to one very overused word that I don't like called detox. And the word is not detox. I don't like when we abbreviate words. So the point is, detoxification is essential. We detoxify when if we have a car, we detoxify it 4 times a year by changing the oil, giving it a tune-up, and stuff like that. Our bodies are much better machines, and they require the same kind of maintenance. So we need to detoxify, not detox.